Today we are going over Leetcode question number 55, jump game. This is going to be a fun one, so let's go ahead and get right into it. As we can see, this question is a medium difficulty. It is going to be pretty straightforward, but at first it's a little bit hard to think about the proper way to solve this. So let's go ahead and read the question. To start off, we are given an integer array called nums. We are initially positioned at the array's first index. Each element in the array represents your maximum jump length at that position, so return true if you can reach the last index or false if you cannot. We have two different values we're trying to return, Boolean. We know that that will be an easy way to return a value at the end of this function that we're calling. But let's look at the example here and see how we would actually look at going to the end of this array. Our first index here, at index 0, is a value of 2. So we'll say from this value of 2, can we jump 2 steps forward? We get a value of 1. Can we jump 1 step forward? We get a value of 1. Jump 1 step forward, and we're now at the last index. That is a correct way to solve this. Another way we could solve this is by taking 2, instead of jumping all the way to this second index, we could say from 2, just use 1 jump. So we'll step 1 to the right, and then we'll use the 3 steps, and we'll go 1, 2, 3 steps to the last index as well. These both work, but this is going to be a more dynamic programming way of solving this, and it's going to be a little more complicated. We're actually going to flip this upside down. We're going to look at it in a backwards point of view, and we're going to solve this starting with the last element and working our way back. Starting with this 4, we're going to say, can we get to this last index from the previous index? This index 3, we can add 1 to get to the index of 4. From the previous index, can we get to the next one? And so on. 3 can jump 1, it could jump 2, it could jump 3. And since we're not worried about the fastest way to solve this, we're just worried about can we get from the first index to the last index, this will work. So let's go ahead and start looking at how to write out this code. To start off with, I'm going to go ahead and copy over our example so that we can take a look at that. And we're actually going to be defining a variable to start with of our end goal. We're going to set it equal to the length of our nums array. So our length of nums array is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And instead of just returning the 5 elements, we want to return the index value for that. So we will take our length minus 1. Now that we have that set up, we need to iterate through each element in this array. To start off with, we will say for I in the range of, we're going to use the same exact thing here, the length of nums. So this would go from the 0 index to the last index, which would actually be 1 before that because you won't use the value in range that is the topmost end. But we can actually set this as our starting point, and then we can choose our stop, which would be -1, and then we're going to iterate it at a step of -1. So if you don't know, range function has a built-in ability to say that this is the starting point, this is our stopping point, and this is our step point. So we're going to start at the last element. We're going to go through each element -1 as our step, and we're going to end at our last element, which will mean that we will end with our very first index. But we actually want to start at 1 less than the length of nums because we don't want to start here at the end. We want to start the value before this to see if we can take this value and add its index to get to this last value. So let's go ahead and start writing that out. We'll say if I take the index value and I add to it the nums value, which our nums array value would be 1 here. So I'm saying if I take index of 3 and I add to it a value of 1, can I get to the end goal, which is our index of 4? And that would be true. So when that is true, we want to set our new end goal as being equal to the value of I, or the index I. Now when we look through this the next time, our new element that we are iterating through is index 2. We are going to try to see if we can get to index 3 by taking index 2 plus the value of 1, and we can obviously see that that does work. Now if we look at our new index value of 2, we'll say can we take 3 plus 1, which is our index here, to get our index of 2. And that does not work, but we don't have to do just a specific value of 3. We could also use 1 or 2 from this. So we need to alter our if statement here to say if it is greater than or equal to the end goal, because we can also just step one time. And then on our last time through, we see that 2, we can go 1 or 2 here. So that will obviously work as well. And in the end, we just want to return our final goal, which our end goal is going to be equal to 0. If that does end up being equal to 0, then we'll return true. And if it is not, then this will return false. That is the outcome that this problem expects from us. And we can go ahead and run this script. So this code, while it's still running, we can see that it actually was accepted, so I'll submit it. But this is written in time complexity of big O of n. This is going to be one of the faster ways to solve this. I don't personally know of a way that is quicker to solve this. You can see this is a 7 millisecond runtime, beats 97.63%. If you do know a faster way of solving this, feel free to let me know down in the comments section. But otherwise, that is all that I had for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you found something beneficial from it. And if you did, I would really appreciate it if you could like this video and subscribe. It helps me out a ton and it doesn't cost a thing. But otherwise, I will see you in the next one, and I hope you have a great day. See you.